claiming the block. That's gonna probably claim my children. Dear Philadelphia, this is how I'm feeling. Dear Philadelphia, this is how I'm feeling. And I ain't trying to preach. I was raised off
Hey,
drug
hey, hey,
dealers.
everybody.
Growing
Welcome
up
to
poor,
Everything
mothers
Philly
cooking for their
Podcast,
children. Our
your
pops was doing
platform
time
for
for trying to make it to
information,
a million. But the job was
entertainment,
slave
and
labor, and
hitting
the
some
bosses
hard
tried to kill them.
topics.
Working
I'm
12-hour shifts
Sharice,
till they feet ain't had no
Robin
feeling. Breaking their
Hales.
spirit until they
and
soul not appealing.
we're
Now the
back
soul
with
was appealing.
two
Now we thinking that clothes
of
is
our
a feeling.
guests.
Selling our
It was so
soul for
nice
a
the
feeling.
first
It's
time
the
we had
way
to
our
do it
life
twice.
Had
was.
to do it again. So let's welcome
Gotta
again
do better.
Rashay
Life's a
and
marathon. It ain't restricted to this level. There's power in our numbers, so we gotta
Building
come
again.
together. Teach our children
so we want to
something
talk
different.
today
How to
about
come together. Work with
poverty and do we use poverty as an excuse? And I'm going to start it off with Mr. Smoke here, because Smoke had an amazing experience that kind of brought to light, do we use poverty as an excuse?
Mm.
What's wrong?
So uh I just come off like a mini world tour per se. Went to a couple different countries. Well, went to Asia but visited Korea, Cambodia and Japan. And I was able to see how the different cultures just go about just everyday life compared to some of the things that we value over here really doesn't matter to them over there. But speaking on poverty, Cambodia was like to me was a rough stop. It was more of a culture shock because I've seen poverty. Only time I've seen poverty on the level that I saw it in real time over here was on television. Um, but to actually like witness it firsthand, be that close to a child with no shoes on or no clothes on, and just how I watched them for a short period of time. I had a chance to see like their work ethic, such things like that, and I feel like being in the U.S., although we have like it's a lot of opportunity for us over here, but I do agree that some of us were brought up in situations where like you might have had a rough start, especially if like your parents were on drugs or your father wasn't around and stuff like that. So to fend for yourself as a kid do put you a lot behind the eight ball. I do agree with that. I feel as though at some point though, because of all the opportunities that we have over here, then it becomes a choice whether you want to use that poverty as an excuse to say, well, my mom was on drugs or my dad wasn't around, despite all the education that's accessible to us, the jobs and stuff like that, or even self-employment at this point with all the social media and all that. Are we in poverty still because we're using that excuse from how we were brought up at a young age and we're carrying it into our adulthood, or are we just like not really understanding? Because for the most part, the worst day of your life over here, a person from over Cambodia would love to trade places with you, from what I witnessed. So, or like, what is it? What I feel like our work ethic at some point is just like real lazy.
Did you get a chance to see what their school system is like, or like what is it after the part that you seen that made you feel that way? Like, it,
So, so as far as the school system, so my wife, her family is from over there. So I had a chance to meet her uncle, who's a school teacher. And we asked him a question about that, and their school system, from what he explained to us, it's basic. It's basic. It's like the stuff that we learn over here. We'll probably at some point I'm sure we can all agree we've learned stuff in school that doesn't apply to nothing we're doing right now. Versus over there, I don't know if they teach them as far as like the credits and stuff like that, but it's real basic math, like real fundamental stuff that's going to allow them to survive under their circumstances, which just may not be much, you know what I mean, as far as they concerned. But I know for me, it was like sad because me being the type of person that I am, if I'm in any kind of situation that I can extend a hand, that's the first thing I wanted to do. So I found myself in moments where it was like I want to unpack my suitcase and just go back with nothing. Or if somebody charged me a certain price, I want to give them way more than whatever their price was. But then being as though my wife family is from over there, they were schooling me like you can't even do that because of how bad it is over there. That somebody will take that as, oh, we got a rich American over here, and I come up missing or something like that. So it was a crazy experience. But back to the topic as far as here with poverty, I feel like at some point, like we're given a choice and we just don't take advantage of those choices and we blame it on the excuse of poverty from how we were, you know, raised.
I agree with you to a certain extent, but I think some people don't have a choice. It's like, as we was talking earlier, is
Hmm.
like from the age of 18 months to maybe 6 or 7, we're learning, we're taking in
Right.
everything, we're kind of building our future at that time, not even knowing we're building our future. We build our character from that time, and it's
Hmm.
not from what our parents is teaching us, it's from what we see.
Right.
So if you coming up in a household where as though the mother and father always fighting each other, or they always drunk, or anything, like
Hmm.
you taking on that, and it may, I don't know. I think our choices at that point only come from what's outside the house.
Hmm.
So, but if you in
Agree.
a neighborhood like Kensington and you seeing everything that's going on down there, like you're doomed from the start. Somebody have to actually take you in and let you see a different life than what you witnessed so far.
Right.
And they have to really impound in your head that it gets better, it gets better, it gets better. Because if you're witnessing the same thing all the way up to a teenager, you're doomed.
Right.
You're doomed. You don't have no other option. Your brain don't even know where else to go if somebody ain't stepping in to be that role model for you, or whatever the case may be. I have witnessed a lot of stuff being down 23rd and Diamond, being down 7th and Clearfield,
Right.
being down 6th and Diamond, whereas though people really don't have a chance. Like, that's why I say that we don't appreciate our life.
Hmm.
Like, we always talk about what we don't have. When do we look at what we do have? How privileged we are? Like you say, you could basically do anything. You got a choice to decide if you want to be broke today
Hmm.
or have a couple dollars. You don't have to be rich today,
Right.
but you can have a couple dollars to get through today. Some people don't have that option. Now, I agree with you on the other hand, where though people use that excuse. They're lazy.
Hmm.
It ain't nothing else about it, but they're just lazy. The government give, and they just want, and they're not out to go get.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Because it's the times when we grew up in 23rd. I mean, where I was down 23rd and Diamond Projects, where they was giving out the block cheese, the milk, and the little tea, and a little thing of pudding or whatever. Man,
Hmm.
we was in line around the block for that stuff. And I wasn't even from that area, but somebody was giving out something free, and
Right.
it's like, go get it.
So let me clarify because I agree with you when it come to that. I'm not speaking from the point of somebody who like don't really know better or wasn't given like a better opportunity. Like I'm
Hmm.
gonna give you an example. I moved a family member of mine in. He had a rough start from the beginning. Parents were on drugs or whatever the case was, right? So his childhood was a little rough. He got maybe in his teenage years or something. A family member took him in, and these family members were well off. So they
Hmm.
showed him a different life. School system. I mean, everything was good. Then he started getting himself together a little bit. Moved in with me. Now I'm basically giving him like, what do you want to do? In fact, the mobile detailing situation that I had, that was something that I did for him. But for some reason, he just was like he just didn't have. He just rather be in his situation that he was in. Like he just didn't want nothing. And I'm like, what's your problem? Like you don't you're not that person that you was in where you wasn't given these opportunities. So at that point, like, are you using that excuse like this is just how I'm going to be because my parents were on drugs? Because that's not your situation right now in your 20s. So I'm speaking from that perspective, like those people, because the one thing I do know from from having conversations with people over in Cambodia, not one of them that I've talked to over there was happy with their situation. Like they all were trying to find a way how to get to the United States, right? And then some of them that do come here, they outwork us like it's not even a comparison. Like we just seen that yesterday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, how do we got any type of excuse, or how can we have any type of
It's the
complaints at that point?
it's the
Like it's
mindset.
here
It's
exactly.
the mindset. It's the mind, because somebody that came from nothing and somebody give them an opportunity to be something or do something, they may look at that as, okay, I could do this for the rest of my life.
Hmm.
You understand? I could just use people, just look sorry, act sorry, and somebody gonna do something for me.
Right.
And they go about that because they don't have no responsibility. If somebody's always taking care of something that you got to do, then what's the use of stepping up to the plate and be responsible for anything?
Right.
I have a friend like that right now who's just the happiest person in the world from something so little. Like
Mhm.
you, it is amazing to see that. It's like, is it something wrong with me or is it something wrong with him?
Right.
Did I put my lifestyle in jeopardy? Not in jeopardy, but am I living behind my means
Mhm.
when I could be living just as simple as him? You understand what I'm
Right.
saying? So I can't say he's a bum or he's doing bad or whatever, because what makes him happy in life is different from what
Oh,
makes me happy in life.
definitely agree with that.
His responsibilities is way less than my
Right.
responsibilities.
Right. I agree with that. How
Do
y'all
we
feel?
have
I think it's always unfortunate to see third world countries and see the difference, um Americans versus the third world countries. I think sometimes we need a humbling experience. We need to see like how it really is
Mhm.
to appreciate it. Unfortunately, third world countries aren't easy to get to experience that. But I definitely feel like we have a lazy mindset, um because it is so easy to get things for free. It is so easy to get a handout. It's so easy to sell a story. I don't have the answer as to how to prevent those things, but
but all foreigners that come from different countries say we are so lazy because they get over here and they make a killing and send every penny back home so they can get the next person over here.
Mhm.
Like, the mindset is crazy. Like, what made us like this goes from slavery until now. And a lot of us never even witnessed slavery. We don't even understand what slavery is, but we go back to it every time somebody say something. Oh, that white man did that to us. Or
mm,
when have a white man ever did that to you? Physically,
mhm.
when have you been that close to a white man that he took everything away from you? Like, you can't use that as an excuse. Like y'all said, there's so many opportunities to get to a dollar today that is ridiculous. Like, nobody have no excuse.
Nope.
Some of that is a raising because they latched onto it, hearing parents, grandparents saying that the white man did this and the white man did that to them. So then they just latched onto it and said now the white man is doing that to them and not taking advantage of the opportunities that they actually do have. Like a lot of people they don't know about me. I've actually came from Camden and I didn't use that as a stumbling block. I used that to motivate me to want to do, better. I came from a broken home. My parents did the best that they can, but they were also people who decided they weren't going to use the welfare system. So they never did the welfare, the food stamps, not knocking anybody who did, but that's just what they decided. And so they raised us, just a different way. And so for me, just wanting to grow from that and want to do better and, going to school, getting an education, getting a better job, all of those things, it wasn't like I was want to say, oh, the white man prevented me from. Nah, sometimes we're our own stumbling block.
Mhm.
The things that we do prevents us from getting to the next level or the next step. So we have to take that onus on ourselves, which we don't like to do a lot.
Or just the excuses. You grab that excuse and you stick with it.
Yep.
That's your reasoning to not be able to do better.
Yeah,
And it's accepted.
definitely
It's
is.
accepted. I mean, it's easy to get welfare, the
Mm-hmm.
food
Yep.
stamps, the unemployment, like, and people know how to finesse things now.
Absolutely.
So
That's the speed.
the fraud is like crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and there's so much going on, and people are so manipulative and so conniving that like they're getting away with it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if
Right.
you can, if you can come up off of a scam or a quick hustle,
Scam is big. Scamming
that's
is
what they're gonna
big right
do.
now.
But I don't think that's better. I don't think that's a positive because
No.
I
No.
mean, your kids is looking at that like you ain't never going to work
Mm-hmm.
and you just got this
Mhm.
check coming in. That's telling them they
Absolutely.
could be lazy and
Absolutely.
Right.
scam and
Well,
get
that's
through
why
life.
we're
Absolutely.
seeing. That's why we're
The
seeing
cycle.
Generation.
what we're
Yeah,
seeing.
cycle
Yeah.
break the
Yes,
cycle.
Right.
kids having kids after
Yep.
kids. The more kids you
Yes.
have, the more
More
money
food
you
The
get.
stamps
more
you
money
get,
you
the more
get.
money you
Yep.
get.
So, but these things are like they're instilled in us from, I'm saying, if you're living in poverty, if you're
Mhm.
living in the ghetto or the hood or whatever, because the schools you go to, they're only teaching you to be less than the white man, for real, for real.
Mm.
Everything they teach you is about the white man. Like, did you get one thing in there that, I mean, only thing I ever really got out of school was peanut butter. Like, when it comes to black people, peanut butter. Like, there's so many other things we invented that they hid behind that
Mhm.
a white man invented it. but we are the creators of so many
Everything.
different
For
things,
real, for
but
real.
we don't get that. Our
Mhm.
kids don't get that. So what we learned up that the white man got everything. That's
Right.
all we learned growing up.
But then do you hold parents accountable?
Yes.
Well,
Because
they're
it's
the
our
same.
responsibility to
No,
teach
no,
our
no,
children.
no. You got to understand where those parents came from.
Mhm.
Those parents actually came from slavery. You understand? I'm saying going back, like
Okay.
my grandmother, my great grandmother. I never
Mhm.
met my great grandmother, but I heard that she was a part of the slavery
Right.
type
Mhm.
thing. And what did she teach her daughter?
Mhm.
What could she teach her daughter? She
Right.
didn't get an education. So
Mhm.
her daughter ended up coming up the same way she did.
Mhm.
When did our people ever get a break to sit here and say that we started with that silver spoon?
But did your
But
mom use that as an excuse?
right.
My
She got it
mom,
together,
my
right?
mom didn't use an excuse, but she got it together working hand over foot.
Right.
Right.
You understand? So what that teach me? That I don't want to work hand over foot. I'm
Right.
going to get out there and do what I got to do. You understand what I'm saying? To make life better.
Right. Break the
So,
cycle. Somebody has to break the
but to
cycle.
break the cycle for us, that would be selling drugs.
Not for
No,
everybody.
no.
Go
From
ahead.
us coming from the hood,
Okay.
yes, that is. Selling drugs is our breaking the cycle for the most part.
Right. You can't say that for everybody. Because
No,
for me,
we're
I came
talking
from
from
Camden. So that's the hood to me.
Okay, first of all, for a
Mhm.
woman and a man, it's going to be different.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
We can agree
It's
on
going to
that.
be way
We can
different.
agree on that.
Not saying that's the route for everybody, but for all
For
the
the
people
most
that
part.
I grew up with,
Right.
they actually sold drugs or they got
Mhm.
into robbery or
Mhm.
whatever.
No,
They
I
had
Break
to
the
do
cycle.
something
that.
negative because
Right.
we was never taught no other way.
Okay.
We taught that working hard gets you nowhere but paying bills, and that's
Mhm.
it. We
I
still
guess-
don't have nothing. I still got to steal out the church pot to have
Mhm.
some money in my pocket because my
You ain't
mom
have to steal
You
out
don't
ain't
want
have
to
to
give
steal
me
out the
nothing
church.
because she got to pay her tithes.
Right. I guess for me, I look at it different. I'm so glad, and I've learned that a lot of females don't
Talk to
have
your
a
mic.
great father. I'm sorry, a lot of females don't have a great father example. So for me, I'm glad because my dad did do the route. Not putting him out there, I ain't gonna say his name, but he did do the drug route at first.
Mhm.
But then when I was born, and he had to take responsibility for me, he got out the game and got a 9 to 5. He hated the 9 to 5, but he didn't want to put me through that lifestyle and through everything that was, and I know all about it. And so I won't go into all detail, but he went and got the 9 to 5 and provided and showed me a different way. And so, like, yeah, my dad, yeah, I love my dad. And he's the person who I'm like, okay, yeah, that dude, that's what I want to be like. And that's what I want my man to be like. And it's just like, yeah, poverty is real, but he took us out of that and didn't have to go that route, the drug route. So there are some men who are real men who don't have to go that route. I'm not saying that everybody, and it's not wrong. I'm not saying whatever route is wrong, whatever, but I'm just saying that's not the only route. And you can come out of that.
That's what I agree with. That's why
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
why I say like we so privileged over here because we have those choices. I'm not saying that even if you did have a rough start and you like, all right, to break this cycle, I gotta sell drugs. Even if you
Right.
indulge in it, right? At some point, you do have a choice whether you want to
Absolutely.
continue doing that or if you want to take another route.
Yep.
Whereas though over there, they don't have it's the choices are way more limited over there than even our homeless people over here
Mm.
are privileged. For real, for real. They eat
Mm.
something different probably almost every day, whoever giving them stuff. Like people are literally giving them stuff. Over there, it's poverty is like I truly believe that it's so like my experience over there, I'm gonna just speak for myself, was so crazy, right? That at the time when in my younger days when I was out here in the streets getting in trouble and stuff like that, instead of taking me to like locking me up and taking me to prison, you could have sent me there for like 6 months.
Mm.
I would have straightened all the way up. And it's just because of how privileged we are, even in our jail systems. Not saying that jail is not one of the most horrible places, but it still does not compare to what they got over there. Like some jails, you got air conditioning, like you going to
Wow.
eat every day or whatever
Mhm.
the case. You ain't doing all that over there. So I just feel like we gotta stop making excuses for. I get it. Everybody came up different.
Mhm.
Me personally, I can't even my childhood. I can't even relate to your childhood being down 23rd and Diamond. I wasn't like I'm not. I didn't have a silver spoon, but I was close to it. I just
Mhm.
made bad choices. I had a
Right.
choice. You know what I
No,
mean?
But you
no,
own that.
Right.
You own
Absolutely.
it. And a lot of people don't own, they just made bad choices. And sometimes people are in these situations and instead of owning that they made bad choices, they're making excuses
That's
and
what I'm
saying,
no,
saying.
this is where
no.
I'm at because
Don't
of
get me
this.
wrong. I made bad
Right.
choices. Like my dad moved me up here. I
Mhm.
chose to go back down there because that's where my first 5 years was at.
Right.
I didn't like up here. I thought it was too bougie up here.
Mhm.
I wanted that. And my dad was still down there. So I wanted my dad still be a part of my life. And
Mhm.
that's what made me freak bugs.
Mhm.
That's what made me get into that life because I still wanted to follow my father's image.
Right.
So that's the choice that I made. So I'm not disagreeing with you that we don't have
Right.
choices, but I'm saying me being incarcerated for 18 years straight, I seen a lot of different things. People
Mhm.
that didn't have a choice. Their mother and father was killed at a young
Right.
age, or they was born not knowing who their parents was.
Right.
Some people go to the foster home and they get molested, and
Right.
like they get out on the street and have to survive for themselves. They don't know no better.
Right.
So that's one of the things that made me wake up when I'm looking
Mm.
around and I'm saying, why am I here?
Okay.
Like I had options.
Mhm.
I had a lot of things. I'm not this dumb, ignorant child
Right.
that needs to be in prison, somebody else running my life.
Mm.
But some people just don't have options. That's what I'm saying. Now, for the most part, we all have options.
Right.
Mhm.
I'm going to say that. So I agree with you, but I'm saying sometimes the shoe is different on the other foot.
I would say from a starting point, I would have to agree with you 100% in terms of like everybody grew up different. So some of the choices that was made at a young age, or even some people, like you said, didn't have choices. But as you got into your 20s or your
Mhm.
30s, you still carrying that. Like I
Right.
got
You may
That's when it
have. They
becomes
may
an
be. They may have
excuse.
been
Right.
a crackhead baby. Like
right,
some people took over where their parents left off. Like they start doing the same thing their parents did.
right.
So you never
Mm.
develop a strong mind
Mm,
or a mindset.
mm.
Right,
So
but then if you know you were a crack baby at some point, did you have to know you had to go get treatment to help that?
who's thinking about treatment? Like you still
Them.
got no. They not.
But
This is the way
they
they cope.
should.
No, this is the way they cope with how they was raised. This is they may went through some traumatic
Right.
situations
But
where though
a lot
that's
of
the
people
only
been through
way.
trauma. That's what I'm
And
saying. So trauma
so it's a
becomes an excuse
mindset.
too,
That's what I'm
though.
telling you. It's a mindset.
It's a mindset, but it can also become an excuse too.
No, definitely, most definitely.
Okay, yeah, it could definitely become an
But
excuse because then you have the option to do something
Right,
different. You still always have a choice.
right.
No one is left without
That's
any.
my point. Like
Yeah,
we
yes,
there
got
it
still is a
is.
choice and an
Yes, it
option.
is.
It
no,
Yes,
might
it
be
but
is.
listen,
harder, but you still have a choice and an option.
No, you don't. If you don't know no better, if you don't know nothing else but
And do
this,
you know anybody could say they don't know any better?
yes.
That's an excuse. You know better.
Oh
but
my
this what I'm
God.
Learn
saying,
to
right?
know better. You
No,
can't just
listen.
lean on that.
No, look, I agree. I agree with both of y'all on this one. But what I'm saying is my point or the topic is supposed to be about just the choices that are giving to us here.
Mhm.
Now,
Right.
granted, your mind is totally out of whack or whatever. Yeah, you're gonna probably go through some stuff,
Mhm.
but a choice is still provided. It's still a choice here for
Right.
you
It's
if
still a
you
choice.
decide you want to get your mind right or whatever the case is. Over there,
Mm.
a lot of these resources that we have to help you get your mind right are obsolete over there. You're not even having those choices.
Mhm.
So, God forbid if something like that was to happen to one of them, they're 9 times out of 10
Mhm.
going to die like that without giving any choice to change. They can't leave their circumstances. Over here, we
You
got
got
there. Yeah,
choices.
you got
So much.
choices.
So
There's
though
Now
resources.
he hit it
there's
on the
no
king.
shelters, so they don't have any kind of
There's
like support
there's no
systems,
there's none of
no
that. There's not. And the
no
place that I
government
visited,
agencies,
nah.
welfare, none of that.
Nah,
Mm.
there's really no order. Like literally, I don't even understand how there's not over 1,000 well, they do the mopeds, but just accidents. Like, and you would think like, I know me, I'm like, all right, we approaching a stop sign or we approaching it wasn't even no light. We're approaching a stop sign. Like, who's going to stop? There, nobody stops. You just zoom, zoom, zoom. You
Mm.
just going. So it's just like, it's crazy over there, to be honest with you. So yeah, as far as resources and it ain't the options is very limited over there.
No, we are definitely blessed over here.
Super blessed,
We're definitely
Mhm.
blessed, but we're super lazy as well.
right,
Oh no, we're lazy.
right. But a lot of it be somebody was trying to tell me it was fair. Like a lot of people fear success and all that, and that could be true.
Mm.
But it
I
brought me
heard
to
that
my
too.
question:
Mm.
like, what's worse, a fair or having fear or making an excuse? I felt as though making an excuse is worse
Right.
because you could fear something and still approach it and then
Mhm.
realize, oh,
Right.
I wasn't. It ain't as bad as I thought it was. But once you then convince yourself to have an excuse about something,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna live with that until you decide something different,
But on the same topic of that, if you let fear paralyze you,
right?
you on the same. It's
Exactly,
the same length. Now you can't move. You can't do anything because you're paralyzed
right.
by that fear.
I don't know. I feel maybe from me just being over there, it's still fresh in my mind. I'm like, how are we over here not working? Like
Yeah.
with all this opportunity, it shouldn't be no person over here talking about I don't have any money.
But that goes back to what Sharice was saying. It's just all the freebies over here.
Mm-hmm.
So
You can
much is
not work
given
and
to you.
still get a
Yes, you
check.
can not work over here and still survive.
Right,
And it's just like I know a lot of people because like Sharice knows I prepare taxes. So when I'm doing different things, I'm like, wow, how are y'all surviving with these many kids
right.
with this income? But it's because of all the freebies
Mm-hmm.
that they're getting, and it's allowing them to take care of the multiple children
Right.
because for them you get a lot. When you get more kids is just more
All
money
that
instead
earned
of them
income
looking at it
credit.
as more kids is really this little bit of money is not
Mhm.
really taking care of these kids. It's not sending them to college
Right,
and helping them to make something better out of themselves.
right.
It's just this little temporary money to help them right
Mhm.
now. So
Now, on another note, as blessed as we are, we ain't taking full advantage of it because Japan,
mm,
Tokyo, they so far ahead of us, it don't make
mm-hmm,
sense as far as like technology and all that. And it's sad to say, I was having this conversation with somebody yesterday. If you ain't really like on top of this technology, the
mm-hmm,
AI and stuff like that,
mm,
especially like our kids, they gonna be lost in the sauce because this
absolutely.
stuff moving like
Yeah.
this, and they taking jobs as we can see
Yep.
already. It was McDonald's over there, like had one person in there, bro. Like, and that I think she was just overseeing the machines.
Mm,
Like, you ain't ordering with nobody. It was just crazy. If that ever hits over here, and
right.
it's gonna be a lot of people that's gonna be lost. But
It's coming slowly.
it's definitely coming.
It's coming slowly. I mean, I think that's part of the system, though. Everything that you're saying is going to be part of the
Right.
system until there is no more us.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Because we don't know how to work together. We don't know how to do nothing together. We don't know
Yep.
how to help each other. It's like
mm,
crabs in the barrel. I keep saying
yeah.
that
Facts.
over and over again. Like, gimme, gimme, gimme.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's team up and grow, grow,
Right.
Right.
grow. Because I mean, even myself, and I'm a nobody. Like, but I'm sitting here and I need people
Right. We be
to
trying to
make me
figure it out.
feel as though I exist. Like, it's
Mm,
not about me. I don't want nothing. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
I need, but I don't really want for nothing. I want to wake up every single day and be
mm-hmm.
happy to be on earth another day.
Right. People would rather be broke individuals than a wealthy team, man. It's
Oh,
sad.
that's true.
It's sad, but it's a lot of stuff that we care about over here too. That
Mm.
is like our instant gratification, like our levels on that is just it's
Like what, for
unbelievable. And I'm
example?
a huh?
What's something that we care about over here
Like
that
even
means
as far
nothing
as
over
like
there?
cars that we drive, uh clothes that we wear, and
Mm,
I don't I mean super guilty of it, but we is in Korea and we pretty much travel by train over there, right? So my thing was like even packing to go over there. I'm like, I gotta get sneaks, gotta match it. Like I'm just trying to figure out how I'm just gonna be super fresh. And I was like a sore thumb on the train over there. Like I felt super out of place because first of all, nobody was even looking at me. Nobody cared what I had on. And you could just tell from their aura, it's just like strictly business. We don't care
mm,
nothing about that. We want to work. Whatever we into, we into. And it was just like, it just really let me see how really we could be killing them over here in the US if we picked up some of them traits that they
mm,
had.
But they show us that. They show
Yeah.
us here in the USA. The poppies show us that every
Right.
day. Like they get out there and take these jobs, and we'll give them that money, thinking that we getting over, and they
Right.
just growing and we just declining.
Hmm. That's a fact.
Every single day they show us that. We run to them. They are the connect.
mm.
Hmm.
So, I mean, you know,
Yeah, we gotta start coming together. Something.
Mhm.
on that note,
On that note, Black people gotta come together. We're
no, they need to. I mean, it goes back to our last episode where so you say you had to like look at yourself and learn to love yourself.
Mhm.
We need to
mhm.
look at ourselves and say, why are we struggling? Like,
Mm.
why is it like that? And so many people is trying to offer us opportunities, but we too good, we too prideful to sit
Mhm.
here and say, I don't have nothing to come into the table
Right.
with.
Mm-hmm.
But it just may be your presence,
Mm.
But we
your
too worried about
mind.
what the other person
What
Not on,
yeah.
has or how much they're getting out of the
Yeah.
deal.
not
Or
only
counting
that,
somebody else's money.
not
Yeah.
only that too, bro. We as a culture, we are super gatekeepers.
Mm.
Like a lot of the reason that a lot of we're in our circumstances is because of lack of information. There's been
Mhm.
plenty of times I've ran into a ton of money and thought I was doing the right thing with it,
Mhm.
but just didn't have the right investment information to make it multiply or whatever. But there's people that I know that probably more than likely could have had some information, even as far as like where I'm at right now. Like to be transparent, I'm like in a little runt because I got these businesses, but I need funding. I
Mhm.
know there's people that know how to get
They
grants and
don't
how
want to
to they
share.
Mm,
just
don't wanna
gatekeep
share.
and they
I'm
don't
going
want
through
to
the
share
same
it.
thing with the
It's
nonprofit. If you
crazy.
don't know someone, then you either have to pay a whole lot of money to get
Right.
a little bit of information. Then you got to be careful about that because now
Right.
people are
Absolutely.
scamming you.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Nobody wants to share.
Yep. Like
They
it's going
don't want
like
to
it's
share the
taken away from
knowledge.
them or something.
And it's enough money out here
They
for
Mhm.
giving it out.
everybody to eat.
Yes. A
But they
lot of
don't
us
want
are
to.
living outside of our means though. And a lot of it has to do with even social media.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mhm.
like you said, you went over there, you wanted to be, fresh to death
Mm-hmm.
with your sneaks and all of that. So a lot of us, and I'm not saying you can't even afford to have that
Mm-hmm.
stuff, but because of social media and wanting to put up the pictures,
Right.
they in all of these different designer labels, but they barely paying their rent,
Mm-hmm.
barely
Mhm.
paying anything that has to do with their home, living in apartments and all of that stuff, but fresh to death,
Right.
all the designer labels for social media. So that plays a large part of it, but
Mm-hmm.
that comes with education too. So that's why I go back to parenting. Yes, certain generations didn't know, but at some point, parents have to begin to take responsibility. Like now, I'm teaching my kids
Mm-hmm.
about investing and all of those different things because you have to, or they won't know
Right.
either.
No, that's a fact.
All right. In the meantime, thanks guys for sharing the platform with us again.
Thanks for
And
having
you
us.
out there, don't forget to like,
Subscribe,
share,
follow, comment.
and comment. See ya.